Do you have any idea how difficult it is to pick 10 books out of 73? Yeah, try it. Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Mariana, and today I am doing my top 10 favorite books I read in 2020. See, picking 10 was very difficult. I actually read a lot last year, and I read a lot of good books. So, yeah, I knew my top book, my number one, it was very easy, but the rest, it was a struggle. I had to cut complete series out. I had to cut very good books out, but I did my best. So let's begin, shall we? Number 10, we have 10 Rules for Faking It by Sophie Sullivan. I think it's the only good romance book I read last year. I'm not a big romance reader anymore. I used to be, but I really like this book. It's very charming. It gives off the same vibes as The Hating Game, but somehow better, less predictable. We have our protagonist, Everly, who honestly has a birthday curse, I would say. Yeah, every time she's on her birthday, bad things happen to her. And on her 30th, she actually finds her boyfriend cheating on her. That's the start of the book. Her boyfriend cheating on her birthday. And we follow that with a catastrophe at work where she pretty much broadcasts to everyone on live radio the fact that she was cheating on. So basically, her work is hanging on by a thread. And then you have her love interest, her boss, Chris, which to me is a pretty socially awkward person. He comes off as rude at first, very distant, but only with her. He almost talks to her with grunts only. And that makes her feel very uncomfortable because he's very nice with everyone else, and with her he's pretty rude. Turns out he actually likes her. Shock her. But he comes up with the idea of doing a sort of dating game or dating show. So she, the bachelorette, will go on dates with men who send their dating profile to the radio station in the hopes that by the end of it, she will be with her perfect man. Lo and behold, she's in love with her boss, and her boss is in love with her. But it's a classic story of will they, won't they? Yeah, it's very charming. In number 9, we have The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. A great book, let me tell you. It's dizzying, it's confusing, it's funny at times. It's Groundhog Day meets Clue in a countryside mansion. We follow Aidan Bishop, our protagonist, who is basically trying to solve a murder. But every morning he actually wakes up in the body of a different party guest. You know, the party that ends up with Evelyn's murder. And he has to, well, solve the murder. Thing is, he's not the only one trying to solve it. He's actually in a sort of limbo, I would say. And he's competing against other people who are also trying to solve it so they can escape. It's a great book. It's confusing at times because since he wakes up in a different body every day, sometimes he interacts with himself. You know, we're talking different timelines, but at the same time, it's confusing, but it's a great book. In number 8, we have Foul is Fair by Hannah Gapping, which is actually a retelling of Macbeth, and I absolutely loved it. You'll see later, it's not the only Hannah Gapping book I have on this list. I absolutely loved her books. We have our protagonist, Elle, who is the quintessential queen bee. You know, she is sassy, she is glamorous, she has her clique, she is everything a girl wants to be, but she is on a mission actually, because last summer she was assaulted by a group of guys, and so that understandably turns her life upside down. So basically, she transfers schools so she can have her very deserved revenge on that group of guys. And without giving much away, she basically gets her revenge one by one in a very graphic but to a degree satisfying way. It's a dark book, I'm not gonna lie. It's a dark book. But of course you sympathize and empathize with the main character, and it's nice to see a girl who reclaims her power to a degree. And in number 7, we actually have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I am a fan of Leigh. I have read all of her books and I have loved all of her books, but Shadow and Bone has this very special place in my heart. Shadow and Bone is a great way of writing young adult fantasy, which I absolutely love. The characters are great. The world building actually is very great. The lore is amazing. What else can you ask for? We have the tale as old as time of the normal girl who is actually extraordinary, but told in a way that it's so compelling, because we have, again, such a great world that you don't care that she is this god amongst humans, you know? And you have such a great cast of supporting characters. Let's not talk about the Darkling. I will go to war for the Darkling. I will. He is one of the best written characters I have ever read. This man is the epitome of smart and sassy and cunning and manipulative. And Leigh, give me more Darkling, please. I need more Darkling. Give me a prequel. Something, please.
Number 6, we have Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I have a lot of repeating authors this year. I have no idea what happened. They just have great books. I'm sorry, okay? But yeah, we have our first Riley Sager book in this list is Lock Every Door. In short, we have the perfect victim for this book. He wrote the perfect character for this book. Of course, it's his book. We have Jules, who is a young, jobless, and homeless girl who has like 20 bucks in her bank account. She finds the most amazing job ever. She basically has to house sit, and she's paid a huge amount of money to house it. The most opulent apartment in the whole city of New York. So why wouldn't she, right? Like, would you? I would. But from the get-go, something weird is going on this apartment building. It's creepy, very creepy. She feels like she is being watched all the time, and you don't know if she's going mad or she actually is being watched. I don't want to give anything away because this is such a great book. You have to read it if you haven't. But the plot twist at the end. I am actually a person that prides herself on seeing the plot twist miles away. I didn't. There was no way I could have. And we have creepy neighbors. We have overly friendly neighbors. We have weird sounds. We have moving stuff. We have creepy gargoyles, even. It's a great setting. It's a great character. The narration is great. The book is not that long, so please, I beg you, read it if you haven't.
That Queen's Club by Hannah Kaplan. Again, and let me say this. Hannah Kaplan is a genius because she is making me know my history, and I never paid attention in class. Okay? Because in this book, she actually tells the story of Henry VIII and his obscenely large amount of wives. Henry is actually a teenage jock in modern times, and the wives are his girlfriends. Yeah, it's such a great way of actually telling this story. It's told with Anne of Cleves being the protagonist. She is Henry's best friend. He calls her Cleves because she comes from Cleveland, which I absolutely loved. I found that so charming and so clever. But yeah, they're best friends. She kind of has a crush on him. They met on summer camp, actually. And then she moves to his town. And lo and behold, one of his girlfriends is, shocker, dead. Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn is dead. And yeah, throughout the book, it's this mystery of him and his ever-changing personality and his kind of abusive tendencies. Yeah, it's just a great way of reading about history, but in a fun and fictional way. Read it, honestly, because I liked it, and now I know about Henry VIII, and I didn't. In number 4, we have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Again. And I feel kind of guilty putting Six of Crows in 4th and Shadow and Bone in 7th. But I'm going to be honest. It's because of the characters. Because I cannot stand Alina. I don't know why. I think that she is the exact same character as Thomas from The Maze Runner, but in female form. She is glorified, and everything that happens because she gets help, but she gets all the credit. And yeah, she has her powers and everything, but in this case, you have an exceedingly charming group of characters. Every POV chapter is great. You have very, very complex characters, very human, and I think I like that. They are flawed. For crying out loud, they are murderers, they are thieves, they are sharpshooters, they are kids with terrible parents, they are normal. Well, as normal as you can get in a fantasy series, but also the plot, the mission that they go in is so fun, and you feel the excitement. I absolutely loved Six of Crows and the entire series. I love the Grishaverse, but I think that this is the strongest one of the series. And please, Leigh, if you want to keep on writing it, I'm here to read it. You have an audience in me. In number 3, we have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is a funny one because I actually tried reading it at the beginning of 2021, but for some reason I just could not get past I think it was the first chapter. It gave me such creepy vibes, and I just had to close it. But this is, to me, a great example of an unreliable narrator. Basically, we have our protagonist who lived in this haunted. We don't know if it's haunted, if it's not haunted house. The point is, she lived in this house and something happened. Her and her parents fled the house, and her dad wrote a book about their experience. But he said it was horribly haunted, that terrible things happened. And she never actually believed it. So after the death of her dad, she goes back to the house to try and flip it and sell it. And weird things start happening again. So we actually have two different timelines. We have the present timeline where she is trying to flip the house and the weird things start happening. And we have the past timeline where she was a little girl and they lived in the house. The past timeline is actually excerpts from the book that her dad wrote. So it's pretty cool to actually see sometimes the contrasting stories of what she is living at the moment and what she allegedly lived in the past. Again, like the last Riley Sager book, the plot twist is very logical. It's not a crazy thing that makes no sense. I really liked it, and of course I would recommend it. Deciding which book was gonna go on second place and which one was going to go on first place was actually very difficult. But you have to trust me on this one. So in number 2, we actually have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Imagine this. Out of the blue, someone comes up to you and tells you you are a billionaire. Somebody that you do not know left you billions, with a B, billions. The thing is that you have to live for a year in his mansion. Would you? Well, that's basically what happens to Avery Grimes, our protagonist. She is actually living out of her car, and one day she is one of the richest women in the entire US of A. And honestly, I wish that could happen to me. I don't know about you, but I do. I really like this book because I am a sucker for a love triangle, and we have that. I am a sucker for a mystery, and we have that. I am a sucker for big, beautiful mansions, and we have that. I am a sucker for the underdog, and we have that. This is the perfect book for me. Also, we have a tortured love interest. We have the protector. We have the I want you, but I can't have you, but will they, but won't they? I love that. I love that. And she gave it to me, not once, but twice. This book was not my number one, simply because of how great my number one is. But trust me when I tell you, I love this book. And I am counting the days till the third one drops. Please read this series. Please. You'll thank me later. My favorite book of 2021 was Temper by Lane Fargo. How do I even begin describing this book? This book is sexy, it's mysterious, it's raw. I think that one of the best ways I can describe this book is raw. You go through every single emotion with not only Kira, your protagonist, but also Malcolm, your very mysterious character. There's something about Malcolm. He is so seductive, but not in the overt way. He is magnetic, yes, That's the word I was looking for. Malcolm is magnetic and Kira is a bombshell. Yeah, you have both of your characters and they are both actors. Actually, Malcolm is also a director and they're doing a play together. And it's a very emotional play, to say the least. This book grabs you and doesn't let you go until the very, very last word. I'm not exaggerating when I say I finished this book and I couldn't get it out of my head for weeks. Literal weeks. It's by far the best book I have read in 2021, if not in the last 5 years. And trust me, I have read a lot of good books. So yeah, if you like psychological thrillers, if you like being on the edge of your seat, you are going to love this book. It's not that long, so give it a go. So yeah, that was my top 10 books of 2021. Have you read any of them? If you have, leave your opinions down below. Maybe like, maybe subscribe, or don't. I'm not forcing you. I hope you're having a great day, and until the next one, see you.